Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3 back with another kicking movie reaction review. I wanted to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 today, but the only movie time I had today, I only had time for one movie today, and instead I actually watched Battledogs from 2013, because I watched a movie with my partner, and I didn't want them to have to rent Friday the 13th Part 2, because you do have to rent it if you want to do a watch party on Amazon. Everyone who watches it has to rent it. But also, they haven't seen the original Friday the 13th, so, you know. But I'm actually really glad we watched Battledogs. It is an Asylum film, but it's quite good for an Asylum film. I actually very much liked it, so did my partner. Battledogs was cool, and it's easily the best Asylum film I've ever seen. You can watch it for free on Tubi, for free on Peacock, for free on Pluto TV. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you can watch it there. That's where I watched it because I did a watch party. It's on YouTube for $1.99, Google Play Movies for $1.99, and iTunes from $3.99. But there's so many places to watch it for free. Tubi is a great place for like cheesy monster movies, by the way. Um, yeah, I'm in a monster group on Facebook called Monster Zone, and there are like everyone watches their movies on Tubi there. I haven't watched any Tubi movies, but I have explored it. But yeah, let me give you the read up for Battledogs. When a strange werewolf virus threatens to decimate first New York and then the world, a rogue general uses the disease to create an army of super soldiers. It's got 3.5 out of 10 on IMDb, a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's more, but like 74% of Google users like the movie. It was released on April 6th, 2013. For some reason, Amazon says 2009, but that is completely incorrect. I don't understand that. Um, yeah, it's directed by Alexander Yellen. And this was a 4 TV movie. It aired on Sci-Fi, of course, because that's where Asylum movies air. The screenplay was by Shan Van Dyke, or Shane Van Dyke. Shan Van Dyke. And it actually has awards. An Asylum movie with awards, yeah. The Telly Award for Non-Broadcast Productions, Film and Video, Sound and Sound Design. Pretty crazy. We also have several actors, some of which are actually recognizable. Ariana Richards, Craig Sheffer, Dennis Haysbert, who is the Allstate guy, and Wes Studi, as well as others. Uh, yeah, and I thought this was a pretty good movie. It has a terrible title sequence, but the rest of the movie I enjoyed. It starts with like our patient zero turning into a werewolf in an airport and then infecting a bunch of people. If you get bitten and survive, just like pretty much any werewolf movie, you get bitten and survive, you become a werewolf. Right? So a lot of people turn into werewolves very quickly. Uh, and then they were gassed, and the werewolves were all taken to quarantine. But the quarantine kind of seemed more like a concentration camp. Like, the thing that triggers the transformation isn't a full moon. It's an accelerated heart rate. If your heart starts beating too fast and your blood starts pumping through you too quickly, you turn into a werewolf. The soldiers know that, but they're still like abusing the prisoners. Even though they know if the prisoners get worked up, they'll turn into werewolves. Really fucking stupid. Um, but yeah, even before they start getting treated like the concentration camps, there are a bunch of people who know they turn into werewolves and kill people, and they're still like refusing to take sedatives to keep their heart rate down. Like one guy pretended to take a pill and then spit it out, and then of course later he transformed and killed 4 people. Right? And it's like when they made Battledogs in 20, like this sounds, I know this is starting to sound familiar, right? People are infected with a disease, and then instead of quarantining themselves to keep others safe, they actively try to go out and it gets people killed. Sounds a little familiar, right? Because that's what's happening right now. Like when I was watching this, I was like, is this a post COVID film? Well, there's no post COVID yet at the time of recording this. Uh, I'm recording this December 6th, 2020, pre vaccine and everything. So it seemed like a movie that would be born out of COVID, but it's not. And then the soldiers, there's only one soldier who is like, hey, these are people. Treat them like people, you know? They're victims too. They don't want to be these werewolves. But it's pretty wild. And like most of the soldiers are calling the people it, not him, not her, not them, it. When you start calling people it, it's pretty much over, uh, civil rights wise. Damn, damn. But yeah, these people do need to be quarantined until a cure is found. If I had this lupine virus, I would 100% be like, please keep me in quarantine. Please help me. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to go home and hurt my family. I want to be here. Uh, I might regret it after the soldiers abuse the shit out of me, but you never know. And then the head soldier in charge, like the guy in charge of the operation, he's doing horrible, horrible things. He's the one that started calling them it. Um, he just starts like putting a lot of them down. Just like putting them down. There's one scene where he puts two of them in a room and then injects them with adrenaline so their hearts will start beating, and then he makes the werewolves fight each other and to see which one would win, and then he puts the winner down, and it's like that's like crazy Nazi shit, dude. Insane. And then he's like, he doesn't want them to find patient zero and find a cure because he wants to turn these werewolves into soldiers, which is a terrible, terrible idea. I don't know how werewolves would be better than a drone strike. I guess they could be more like specific, go for specific targets, but I don't know, man. We also had that in the last film we did, like Planet Raptor, where they were like, we want the raptors to be weapons, even though they had weapons that could disintegrate anything. And it was so weird. Like, werewolves, would they be that different from using, like, dogs in the field? Really? Because, I mean, lots of them die. They're not like, this is like a scientific werewolf. It's not a mystical werewolf. You don't need silver to beat it. You just shoot it and then it's dead. You know? So it's basically just a bigger dog. I don't see how it would aid warfare that much, honestly, I don't. And they were like, to stop the spread of the virus, we'll just coat their teeth in like poison that will make them immune to. And that way, anyone who survives a bite from one will just die from the poison. And then we'll keep the antidote locked up in secret so that other countries can't use it. And I was like, holy shit, this guy is crazy. And this is the Allstate guy, you know? Friendly Allstate guy, you know, abusing these prisoners and everything. Really wild. The story was actually good. It had likable characters. I know, an asylum film with likable characters. I was surprised too. Um, you're rooting for him. Like, at the end of the film, one of the three, like, main characters dies, and you're like, oh man, that's sad. You're like, they didn't deserve to die. But, so Patient Zero actually tries to tell them she's Patient Zero twice. Because after everyone is um, sedated and sent to quarantine, they all have to like give their names and then like take a sedative and etc. etc. And when she sits down for that, she tries to tell them that she's Patient Zero, and they refuse to listen to her. They're like, stick to our questions, please. Don't say anything else. But she's trying to tell them she's Patient Zero so they can make a cure from her. And then they get her so heavily sedated that the next time she tries to tell someone she's patient zero, she's like so heavily sedated she can't say anything. So she tried multiple times to tell people she was patient zero, and they like wouldn't listen to her. And then they were like, "We need a patient. We need to find patient zero," even though they wouldn't listen to the person who was trying to tell them she was patient zero. Insane, absolutely insane. But yeah, like the evil military dude is like tries to have the good military dude, our male lead, tries to have him like assassinated by a werewolf, which was a really good scene because he like our main character is very against killing the werewolves because he knows they're people and they know they aren't. He knows they aren't doing this on purpose. So he tries to use a trank on it, but he misses, and then his trank gun stops working. He runs out of tranks, and the werewolf chases him down. And he's like, I don't want to shoot this werewolf, so I'm going to try to calm it down and reason with it. And it's working. Like, the werewolf is calming down and isn't going to attack him. And then his gun falls off where he set it down, and that spooks the werewolf, and so he ends up having to shoot it and kill it, because it's about to kill him, and then roam free. And he, like, felt really bad about it, and it was a good scene. It was a good scene. This movie had a lot of great drama in it. I mean, all movies are dramas, just by their nature, except maybe like documentaries. But wow. Wow, wow, wow. I did not expect this from an asylum film. I expected, like, it is a cheap exploitation film, 100%, but I didn't expect them to do well on it. I didn't expect the asylum to do well because the owner of asylum, or the asylum, sorry, is notorious for not caring about films and only caring about profit, and etc. And this film's good. The acting could be better. It could, but it's better than most asylum films still. Like, this is pretty normal for TV movie acting. The CGI is bad. The CGI wolves are a good design, but the CGI itself is bad. That being said, it's like better CGI than Age of Dinosaurs. That's another Asylum film. It's better CGI than Sharknado. It's better CGI than Atlantic Rim. This is the best CG I've seen from the Asylum. And there are a couple practical effects. There's a practical werewolf transformation at one point. At one point, there's a practical werewolf snout. I don't know why they didn't use the practical werewolf snout more often. They just really used it once. And I was like, a couple practicals in an Asylum film? That's also rare. I mean, they were really... The practicals for the werewolves were really just in the opening scene at the airport, but they were still there, like for an asylum film. This impressed me. I would rewatch this. And then the government. So apparently there was this bio attack on JFK Airport, in the continuity of this film in this world, and our actual good general guy kind of feels sort of responsible for that, and a lot of people won't listen to him because he didn't catch the guy that did it and wasn't able to stop it, right? But this movie's kind of his redemption. It's a redemption story for him. Very, very cool. I want to say one more thing about the death. There are like three main characters who are trying to do the good thing. Two women and a man. One of the women dies. I'm not going to tell you which one. You can watch for yourself to find out which one. And it doesn't feel like a death to motivate the male character, which is very, very nice. It feels like a earned death scene. That was good. That was good. This was a good movie. It was a good movie. It wasn't like grand. It's no Casablanca. It's no Gojira. It's no Citizen Kane. Even though Citizen Kane is actually overrated. But Battledogs is good. It's good for a 4TV film. It's great for an Asylum film. Uh, very, very enjoyable. Uh, I actually really like, because you know that the villain in this film has to get his comeuppance. And this is a big spoiler. I'm going to tell you how he gets it. So they think he is killed by a werewolf, which would already be ironic. But he's actually turned by that werewolf, and he becomes a werewolf and then, like, seeks them out to attack them. Right? And then our main character, he turns himself into a werewolf so that he can protect the others. And then he loses the fight to the evil military guy, Allstate guy, who turned into a werewolf. He loses the fight. And then Patient Zero blows his head off, which was pretty awesome. And you actually don't even know it's him attacking them until he explodes, and then you see his bloody dog tag, and then you're like, oh, it was the evil military dude. Like, you know he turned into a werewolf before that, but you didn't know that specific werewolf was him. So not only did he get kind of turned into the thing that he was abusing, controlling, manipulating, etc., etc., but he was also killed by one of the women that he was actively abusing, and that was a good comeuppance. It was. I really liked that. We also have a scientist character who's portrayed pretty well. She's the one who makes the cure and etc. And I want to tell you another thing. So apparently after the JFK airport bioweapon fiasco, the government made this new plan for if a virus like that ever happened again, and the plan was seal off wherever it is and then just bomb the shit out of American citizens, which is their plan in this film. They destroy, because the virus is spreading throughout Manhattan, they destroy all the bridges to Manhattan, and they send a bunch of jets to just bomb the crap out of Manhattan. Right? But then the main character gets a hold of the president, and he's like, we have the cure, call it off. And then the president calls in an abort. But as he's calling in an abort, the bomb is being dropped. So the bomb gets dropped. They don't stop it in time. And the entirety of East Manhattan is destroyed. But then there's this kind of shitty line. I'm not going to... You remember in Batman versus Superman, right? Because people complained about all the destruction in Man of Steel, and about how a lot of people would have died because of Superman's fight in the end. Well, then, in Batman vs. Superman, every time there's big destruction, they have the military or someone be like, oh, that island was abandoned, that Doomsday blew up, or, oh, this building Doomsday is destroying, oh, Batman, he's luring him there because no one's there. So BVS was like, there's no civilian body count in, like, BVS, because people complained about it in Man of Steel. And then this film kind of does the same thing, because when they dropped that bomb, even after the abort, I was like, holy shit, Manhattan is about to be destroyed. And I was like, oh my god, like, it shocked me. It genuinely shocked me. My partner and I were like, whoa, they dropped the bomb. All these people are going to die. And then the entirety of East Manhattan blows up. So only one of the bombs was dropped. The entirety of East Manhattan blows up. And then people around the president are like, that area was already evacuated. Minimal casualties. And I was like, way to take the punch away from that scene. Like, that scene hit so hard because you were like, oh my god, thousands and thousands of people are about to die. Maybe even like 1 million people. And then they just walk it back. And I was like, ah, come on, man. That scene could have been so much more impactful if we would have had like a confirmed high death toll and stuff, but they just walked it back. Didn't like that. If you want to... It was kind of cheap. But, yeah, I mean, they get to turn all the people back who got turned. You don't get to see that, but you know it happens. This is portrayed as a happy ending. And, yeah, everything eventually goes back to normal. But, yeah, that's basically it for Battledogs from 2013. The Asylum did well on this one. This is the best Asylum film I've ever seen, and I've seen more Asylum films than I would like to admit that I have seen. Battledogs is good. Once again, there are many places you can just watch it straight up for free. Pluto TV, Peacock, Tubi, all of them are streaming this movie for free. Amazon Prime Video, if you have a subscription to that, then it's there for no additional cost. You know, Battledogs is a good movie. Maybe not a great movie, but a good movie, and it's something I might even rewatch one day. I enjoyed it. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. Tomorrow I might not even watch any movies because I'm going to be doing stuff. But maybe Monday, at least by Monday, I'm hoping to finally watch Friday the 13th Part 2. Because I did rent it, and like as soon as I rent, it was weird because the reason I reviewed Planet Raptor instead of Friday the 13th Part 2 was because I went to watch Friday the 13th Part 2 and then I rented it, and then my aunt called and was like, can you help me put fall decorations in my attic and take down Christmas? And my aunt and grandma live together and they're both really old. So I was like, of course, absolutely, I will help you. That took a while. And then when I came home, we didn't have any power because the winds were so heavy that like a tree branch flew or something and knocked out a power line. So we didn't have any power, so I didn't have internet and couldn't watch it. But I had Planet Raptor downloaded onto my Prime Video app, so I could watch that. So thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I will see you next time when hopefully we do Friday the 13th, but I got other stuff lined up as well.